Good morning. I'd like to call to order the City of Bonita Springs Board for Land Use Hearings and Adjustments and the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Roger Brunswick. I'm the chairman this year. I welcome you to City Hall. The first order of business is the invocation, and I'm going to call on my fellow member, Mr. Wes Norris, please.
Please rise. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning and ask your guidance and blessings on the city's business as we conduct that today. We hope you see that we get home safely, and we appreciate everyone who has come here today to appear before this board. We ask that you look after those who are in harm's way on our behalf today and bring them home safely so that we may conduct this type of business freely. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Mr. Pete Pastore, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. Roll call, please.
Chairman Brunswick,
Here.
Pete Pastore,
Here.
Richard Donnelly,
Here.
Frank Wiles, Mark Nussbaum,
Here.
Robert Inserpi, Wes Norris.
Here.
Good morning. For the record, Audrey Vance, City Attorney. Today we have one case before us, and that case was withdrawn, but I'll just call it out into the record. SPE 1307116 BOS and variance 1307113 BOS. And that was a special exception request to consider a 149-foot monopole cell tower, a variance request to reduce the setback requirement of 149 feet to 97 more or less feet from the northern property line and 147 feet from the east property line. And there was also a variance request from the required landscape buffer. On June 16th, 2014, we received a letter from John Lota, did I pronounce it correctly? Close enough, who represents American Tower LLC, and they did withdraw the application, so there will not be a hearing here today. For those who did attend, if they do wish to speak, to let the zoning board know, I'm not going to swear 'em in because we don't have a case before them, and if Ms. Lota wants to say a few words, that would be great beforehand. Ms. Lota?
Good morning, and I apologize for my voice. For some reason, I have a frog in my throat this morning. But for the record, my name is Jana Loda. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Holland & Knight with offices at 515 East Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. As indicated by City Attorney Vance, I am here on behalf of the applicant, American Tower. As she just announced, American Tower did elect to withdraw the applications that were slated for consideration by the board this morning. Late last week, we received copies of the numerous letters that were sent in by the residents, as well as the staff report, and American Tower and AT&T elected to take a step back and look at the facility to see if there's not a modified design or location that might help achieve the coverage goals and objectives in the area. If I might, I want just to take a moment to just highlight that there is a very real coverage need for AT&T wireless in the area. AT&T is one of the largest wireless providers in Bonita Springs, Lee County proper, and approximately 2 years ago they identified a need in this area, which has only increased with the increase in wireless activity as well as capacity demands. This site obviously was selected. A design was proposed that was hoped to mitigate the impacts. We understand that there's some concerns with that, so obviously we're taking a second look at things. Today, wireless is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. The most unlikely source is the Center for Disease Control. Approximately 13 years ago, started collecting data as part of its national health survey regarding wireless deployment and wireless use. In its study released December of 2013, 39.4% of American households, almost 40%, exclusively rely on wireless telecommunications and no longer have a landline. Speaking of emergency services, statistically, over 70% of all wireless 911 calls come from a wireless device. In the event of a hurricane or a regional event like Hurricane Charlie, those numbers increase substantially. It is our hope that the step that we're taking today to take a step back and try to see if there's not a different way to achieve the coverage objective in this area are met with the same good faith that we're showing today. We plan to work with the community and the city in hopes of deploying a facility that meets the coverage objectives for the residents in the city of Bonita Springs as well as for AT&T Wireless. I'm available for any questions should you have any, and once again, we thank you for your time and consideration today. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? The only comment, not a question, is I concur with your beliefs about the need for cell service and the statistics that you quoted. If they were, I think even today, that even a higher percentage of people rely on cellular service for their day-to-day communications. Just now, I had to go outside to make an important phone call. So there is a need, and this issue is going to come before this board again and again and again, and we need to find a way in which we can blend the need for towers or devices to take our signal to 911 or emergency services or wherever it might be. We need to find a way to blend this into our community. And I don't know that high towers is the only way. I know we have buildings in town that we need to perhaps look to where we can put cellular towers or cellular devices, antennas on some of these buildings and broaden our coverage. We in the city of Bonita Springs, and I don't want to call out any particular carrier, but we have some very, very poor service areas in our city. That's all I have to say. So we're moving forward. I think this is going to come up again, and as citizens, we're going to have to accept this as a way of life. Thank you.
If you would like to have any public would like to come up and give comments at this time, again, I'm not swearing people in because we're not having a hearing, but because they did come down here, if they'd like to say something on the record, they're free to do so at this time.
Does anybody wish to come forward?
I would only ask that you please state your name for the record in the microphone and speak in the microphone.
Do we have anybody here from any of the carriers, or just you're just representing? Okay.
Hi, I'm Mark Borg. I live at 24230 Golden Eagle Lane, about 5 lots just south of where they propose to put the tower up. There are plenty of commercial lots available just outside of our community that would be able to house a cell phone tower. I was in a meeting just the other day with the zoning department for the city of Bonita Springs and asked whether or not I could purchase a lot and put a building up without a residential home on it. And the answer was no. So I don't understand how they're going to be allowed to put a cell phone tower up in a residential neighborhood. Height alone, 149 feet, but the simple fact that they don't have a home on it. So, I mean, I would ask the board or the zoning committee to actually look around the area. There's a cell phone tower on Production Circle. We have a cement plant just south of us. You guys have a sewage treatment plant. Certainly you could lease some land to them and have them put a tower on that. I think the only reason why we're here today is because the lot's $30,000 and commercial property is expensive. So we're not opposed to a cell phone tower, just a cell phone tower in a residential neighborhood. And so those are my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Does anybody else wish to come forward? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Marilyn Edwards. I'm chairman of the Spring Run External Affairs Committee, a member of the Brooks Concerned Citizens and the Estero Council of Community Leaders. And I just want to agree with the gentleman who spoke. This is not the place for a cell tower. It would have an impact on the quality of life of the San Carlos and Spring Run and Lighthouse Bay communities. There needs to be, these need to be placed in commercial and industrial places. We all use cell phones, and we appreciate them, but they need to be put in the right place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I comment on my knowledge of cell phone service and the way it is? It may not always be possible going forward to have these towers located in on commercial property. The signal radiates out from a tower, and you have to have towers spotted along the area, throughout the area. If you had two towers on adjacent lots, that really doesn't solve the problem. So the need to have towers, I don't necessarily want one in my backyard either, but that's why I say there's got to be a need for us and for the city, for the tower companies, the carriers, to find a way to place these antennas so that they are not offensive to our neighborhoods. And I know the technology is changing, and going forward, that technology may allow us different ways to do that, to come to that end. Then we have somebody back here that wishes to come forward and comment. Please step forward, sir, and good morning.
Morning, everybody. My name is Cesar Rugas. I live at 24066 Roger Dodger. I have some points I would like to offer to your consideration. The location in San Carlos Estates is agricultural, not residential, but basically it's residential in character, as we all know. It is not my intent to oppose the construction of utilities, as we obviously benefit from all of this, as you are making the point. But however, I feel strongly that there are better locations already zoned for this kind of facilities. Like for example, in the old 41 corridor, adjacent to San Carlos Estates, they are already zoned as IL, which is light industrial. I have personally visited these zones, and they are pretty much out of view of 41, and all 41 are the states themselves. There is an existing cell tower already next to the cement plant, and this is zoned as general industrial. So there are zones already, as people have already made the point, where this tower could go without going into the states. I would also like to say that the motto of the city is Tree City, as it is advertised on signs posted in the city. And it seems odd to me that having other zones already clear, improved, and most importantly, zoned already for light or general industrial, the applicant would like to have a 149-foot high tower built in the middle of the forested zone. This implies the use of heavy machinery, clearing of land, disruption of habitats, and not for people to live in the land, not to build a home, but just to build a tower. Again, I'm not against building a facility like this, as we all benefit from them, but this should be limited to appropriate zones already zoned for that. There are some ordinances. I couldn't find one for Bonita, but I found some from Lee County. It's very short. It's Lee County Ordinance 0221, and it says for the county that it seeks to maintain the status quo insofar as it would be undesirable and inconsistent with some planning principles to allow the proliferation of tall communication towers. This is just from the county, and I also found some ordinances for billboards. I know it's not for towers, but it was interesting to me to find that for billboards, the locations are very restrictive, and I'm thinking, why not for a cell tower, which is going to be 149 feet that we could all see. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further comments? Please come forward. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Adina Hapakowski. I live at 24066 Golden Eagle Lane in Bonita, and we would be, well, the first south neighbors, like right next to us, these cell tower going up. I have 3 children. I really do not wish the cell tower to go up right next door. The other neighbors have 2 kids too, and we have grandchildren coming from to the other neighbor's house every time. I know that everybody wants a cell phone. I personally don't. But I guess that's the trend now. So if they want to build a cell tower, please don't build it right next to me when I'm living there, because I'm sure you guys don't want that in your, next door lot either. And the other thing is the owner of the property does not live there. He doesn't care about our neighborhood. He doesn't care about the value of the properties. We do. That's why we're here. And so basically that's one concern. The other one, although they don't admit to it and nobody wants to talk about it, but the cell towers have bad effects on people. I've got some articles here that I would like to leave here for you guys. And it says it can cause genetic mutation, memory disruptions, hindered learning, ADD, insomnia, brain disorders, hormonal imbalances, infertility, dementia, heart complications. So I know we are surrounded by this problem, but also in the articles it mentions that in the United States we have even higher levels legally for these towers to operate than like Australia or Europe. So it's even more dangerous here than other parts of the country, the world. So thank you, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward? Please come forward, ma'am. Good morning.
My name is Carol Kinney, and I live at 24033 Golden Eagle Lane. And I just want it on record that I would literally walk out from my front step and be staring right at a cell phone tower. And I'm extremely opposed to it. I have small children, I have small grandchildren, and I concur with all of my neighbors and not happy about it. I don't want the construction. I don't want any more traffic. I live in a cul-de-sac that would face that. And we have a nice neighborhood, and I just think it's just not the appropriate place for a cell phone tower. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to come forward? Yes.
Hi, I'm Dina Wilcoxon. I live on Stillwell Parkway, one street over from where the cell phone tower would be. I'm also speaking on behalf, I'm the secretary for the Homeowners Association of San Carlos Estates. I am very technology forward. I understand, I used to work for cell phone companies back in the day, and I understand the need for the towers, definitely. I do feel that a residential area is not the best place for it. One thing that I feel, and that a lot of people in our community feel, we're such a unique community. We have such large lots and so much privacy, and we are zoned agricultural that a lot of people we're not gated. A lot of people don't take into consideration that we're no different than the Brooks. We're no different than Pelican Landing in as much as we are a community. We are residential. We are a neighborhood, and we don't want to across the street from us or behind our lot as much as anybody else who lived in a gated community would. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come forward? Having seen none, or no one, excuse me. Anybody, any members of the board want to follow up with any comments or have anything to say?
I would like to move that we accept the withdrawal of the application as presented this morning.
Pete Pastore, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Having no further business, other than to approve the minutes of our last meeting, but before you all vacate the room, I want to thank everybody that turned out this morning. We understand, this board certainly understands your concern. You are our neighbors, we are your neighbors. We're all after the same goal, which is to make Bonita Springs a wonderful city in which to live, to work, to play, and enjoy this part of paradise. So we thank you for coming, and we want your voices heard when you have concerns, so we appreciate you. Thank you. Having said that, I wish to call for approval of the minutes of our last meeting, which was Tuesday, February 18th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anything else? That's it? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.